like to further expand my thoughts on Nintendo, as some of you made good points I failed to mention. When I'm writing these scripts, I'll think of something I want to include, but sometimes I'll forget to do so. As a result, they end up being omitted from the video. I'd like to start with probably the biggest one, emulation. For those who don't know, emulation is the simulation of a video game console, allowing a console's games to run on different hardware, namely computers and mobile devices. The games take the form of read-only memory files, or ROMs. Video game emulation is certainly a gray area, as it allows users to play these games without having to buy them, but it also makes the games much more accessible. I'm all for emulation, namely for discontinued consoles, as it provides a practical means to play older video games. This is especially true for games never released in certain territories. Besides, even if someone were to buy a console and a game made for it, none of that money will go to the console manufacturer or the developer of the game because they're no longer selling it. I strongly believe, if possible, a game should have a PC release to provide a practical and legal method of playing the game. Considering Nintendo's legacy content, they're sitting on a gold mine, and I think they'd make a killing if they'd release their older titles on non-Nintendo platforms in the form of collections, one for each console. Perhaps the biggest criticism that the Switch 2 has received is selling games for $80. I think $60 serves as a widely acceptable standard for the price of games. I even felt that $70 was pushing it. There needs to be a justification for a price hike other than video games cost more to make. One benefit I've heard suggested is if a Switch 2 game receives DLC, it should be made available for free. God of War Ragnarok and Astrobot made their DLC available for free, and those games are still commercially successful. So if Sony can do it, so can Nintendo. I know the main goal of any business is to make money, but I think it's important to strike a balance between making art and making a profit. Critical success and commercial success are not mutually exclusive, as a piece of media can be both. What I love about indie developers is they're driven by creating a quality product rather than monetary gain, and they're even giving us the games AAA developers aren't. A prime example of this is Pizza Tower, which is heavily inspired by the Wario Land series, which hasn't had a game since 2008. As I've said in my previous video on this topic, I'll still continue to support Nintendo as they are continuing to make solid exclusives. Plus, supporting Nintendo means supporting Isabelle, and I couldn't live with myself if I didn't support Isabelle.